My idea of an extraordinary life.
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 My idea of an extraordinary life is.
My idea of an extraordinary.
My idea for an extraordinary life.
My idea of an extraordinary life.
My idea of an extraordinary.
My idea of an extraordinary.
My idea of an extraordinary life.
My idea of an extraordinary life.
My idea of an extraordinary life is one that positively affects all the lives around us.
My idea of an extraordinary life.
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 Hi guys, so excited about this next week. I told Chris I was going to open with my hands because he does so well at it. So I'm Laurie Starkey. I am thrilled to be here with Chris Hogan. We are from the Extraordinary Life Project, and this week is all about developing a vision for your extraordinary life.
And it's so important to be able to have that mindset of developing that vision. So we're excited. Listen to me. You know, this project is all about us being in it together. We're working on this thing, and what Laurie and I are going to be sharing with you are some exploration things that we've gone through in our lives. Laurie has spent the last couple years really digging around into this. I got connected with her several months ago as we started to talk and brainstorm and really started to realize that, you know what, more people need some guidance in this area than we're aware of. And so what we want to do is to develop this project, the Extraordinary Life Project, to walk you through the process and the steps and tips so you can get to where you want to be.
Yes, we're so excited about it too. One of the things too, just to kind of bring up from the beginning, is your vision that we're going to be talking about today changes throughout your life. I mean, you may come up with one vision and then you reach that vision and then you need to create another vision. So the vision casting part is super exciting. It's something that you get to do with your whole heart and all of your dreams, all of those good things. So we're really in the idea of let's create something big and beautiful so that we have something great to move towards. So get ready, because today is vision setting day.
It really is. And we're going to have fun as always. You all know we're going to bring you information, but we're going to have a good time because we're going to be authentically ourselves. And Laurie is really good at harassing me, so I'm going to need you all to cover me in prayer as we walk through this process. Okay, Laurie, we talk about vision. Okay, everybody, this word is thrown around so much and so often. I think we can sometimes forget exactly what it is. For me, I'm going to use kind of an example of the GPS. Okay, the GPS, you all know it, it's our friend. Back in the old days, you actually had to use what was called MapQuest. You're too young. But it was one of those things where you would have to type it in and get some directions on where to go. And you would follow those, because if you missed a turn, you didn't wind up at your destination. Lo and behold, nowadays, we have a handheld computer that allows us to type in where we want to go. And guess what? We can get in our cars and we can go. Now, I need GPS in my life. You know why? People, I'm directionally challenged. Okay, it just is. Even with the GPS will tell me turn left in blank amount of miles. I'm ready to make the next left. Okay, I'm ready to turn. You got to follow directions. Here's the thing. If you don't have a plan, if you don't set a destination for your life, you can end up just about anywhere. And so what we want to help you to do is to be able to have a vision, to be able to think about what is it that you're wanting, what is it you're looking for to be able to have that extraordinary life. And it's not enough, Laurie, for us to talk about it. We have to be about it.
Absolutely. And the fun part is that you get to trust yourself as the GPS. We will unpack that. So funny quick story. the new way of doing the GPS, of course, is with Siri. So you ask Siri on your phone, and sorry for the Android guys, this is iPhone, but you get it. You ask for where you're going to go. Well, Siri hates me. I've decided that she absolutely...
What happened?
So I remember a couple years ago, I had put in that we want to go to Six Flags, and I'm navigating, my husband's driving, and we're in Dallas. It's crazy traffic, can't figure out where we're going. And so I'm navigating, Siri's telling us where to go. Well, we end up in the middle of a field. And I'm pretty sure they hadn't shut down the Six Flags yet. And I told Siri, this is not where we're supposed to be. And she said, I don't understand you. And I said, I hate you.
Wait.
And she said, no, you don't. And I said, I'm going to throw you out the window. And she said, I wish you wouldn't. This is the phone. This is for real. I am not making this up.
I am never traveling with her. Okay, I'm just telling you right now. Did it have the nerve to tell you as you were in the field you have arrived?
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, I've arrived at the field of dreams. There ain't no roller coasters up in here.
Hey, if you build it, they'll come.
Oh, man. So the idea of plugging your information into this GPS
Yes.
is so important because the GPS is you. We just have to kind of unpack those parts of you so that you begin to trust yourself again. And then you can, because remember, everything's already inside of you. We're just going to unpack these things and uncover these things. And so that vision is so important. And I'll throw in a quick analogy too, because when you get in the car to go somewhere, if you don't plug in where you're going, you're not going to get there. I mean, the GPS system can only do so much, right?
No.
So the beginning question is, where are we headed? What is it that you're looking to do? What would be extraordinary for you? What would lift you up? What would make you jump out of bed each day? And so that end goal, that vision for the future, and that's what vision means. It's vision casting for the future. Whether that for you is 2 years, 5 years, 20 years, it's looking into the future and saying, this is where I want to go. Let me plug this into my internal GPS.
And what you're going to have to do is really kind of suspend disbelief. And that phrase, as we were talking, it's really stepping outside of your current situation and really start to identify where it is you'd like to go. Now, I know life is hectic. If you've got kids or you've got parents or you have a colleague that you're working with that can be difficult at times.
Or spouse or
or
I was going to do that to you.
Yeah, well, I did it first.
But
But here's the thing. Sometimes you have to step outside of that and start to realize, wait a minute, this is my life, this is my story, and I get to write. And you're gonna hear that a lot. Laurie's got an awesome example of that, but you get to write it. And so what I want you to do is to have the courage and the audacity to really start to think about what it is you want your life to look like. Now, I know we've all got bumps and bruises and we've all been through some stuff, but the reality is that you're still here. Now, what do you want? What are you striving toward? And you're really going to have to take some time to unpack this. But you said something. You said we've already got what we need.
Absolutely.
What do you mean we have that inside of us already?
Right, and actually you brought this up a little while ago in some of our conversations, is that you've been dreaming since you were little. Like you've been dreaming your whole life. You know what lifts you up, you know what wakes you up. And a lot of us, and I would say all of us, know what we were created to do. You know it deep inside of you. The past chapters of your life might have just crumbled over that, or popped over that, or someone else's expectation, or even better, worse, your expectation of what someone else is expecting of you might have kind of creeped over the top of that. So those are things we're going to get to unpack.
And it's going to be fun. But here's the thing. There's a difference between things you want to achieve, right? These physical, tangible things versus things you want to do. And so we're going to take you on a deeper dive. We really are. For you to have some time for exploration. Some of you have never done this before in your life. Some of you have been so busy, or some of us rather, living someone else's version of life or somebody else's expectations that we want to give you permission to really think about what it is you want to do. And so you got to trust us on this and walk through this process. And Laurie, you've got some of the foundational pieces you're going to tell them about.
Absolutely. So the Extraordinary Life Project, think of it like a tabletop.
Okay.
And under the tabletop, you have 4 legs that support this life. And you're going to see this a lot in a lot of programs because these are actually the pieces of life. So the pillars is what we're going to call those. And we're going to get way more into detail later. A couple of months from now, we'll really break it down into these various pillars and start walking through different things in them. But for today, we wanted you to know ahead of time what those 4 areas of life are. Because those, when they're healthy, sustain a strong, healthy table. So we're in the dreaming mode right now to move towards our extraordinary life, but we will get very practical to help you make sure that that extraordinary life is supported in the journey and the destination. So those 4 pillars.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, let's go through them each because then we can talk a little bit about them.
Okay.
What they mean. The first one is your heart. It's your heart pillar. So this, for me, this is where my creativity is. This is where my relationships are. This is where inspiration is for me. This is love. This is intimacy. All of those things you think about when you think about your heart center. Your heart spot.
Which is really important for us to make sure we're connected to. You're going to hear me say a lot and emphasize how important it is to make sure that life's not done alone. I tend to be a loner. I tend to be that person that kind of insulates. And the thing that I know is that in reality, you've got to share life. You've got to be connected and have the right people connected with you. And the beauty of it is when your heart starts to flourish, boy, oh boy, you can tell.
Absolutely.
Right? You can really tell. Okay, so we got the first leg, heart. All right, Laurie, what's the next one?
Our next one is going to be our mind. So, and you'll find that some of these cross over a lot, but we've kind of tried to define them a little bit so that we can really talk about structure later. But your mind is going to be your education. It's going to be your knowledge. It's going to be mindfulness and meditation to bring yourself back into the present moment. It's actually going to include your career. Okay. If you're an entrepreneur, it's going to include that journey for you too, a piece of it. I know that, again, a lot of pieces flow in, but entrepreneurship, career, study, if you study.
Your growth.
Your growth. Absolutely. Great word. Your growth. That's what the mind is all about.
And we've got to grow, right? I mean, if you're not, I had a football coach years ago. I know you look at me and you think maybe I played soccer. I didn't. I played football.
I was thinking cricket.
No, I didn't.
Well, I didn't know.
You mean the bug?
Yeah. No.
Anyway.
There we go.
All right. So anyway, I had a football coach. He told us, he goes, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. Nothing stays the same.
Yes.
Let me say that again.
Yes.
You're either getting better or you're getting worse. Nothing stays the same. And so the reality is growth is important. And I don't care how many degrees, you've got multiple degrees, I do too. This is about us growing internally. And so the information that we're bringing in. And so I really feel the Extraordinary Life Project is another opportunity for serious growth.
That's right. And in the Christian realm, my mom's a pastor. I have my master's in theology. One of the main, and I tell you that because this is the world that I come from.
Right.
One of the main tenets too there is that you're either growing or you're dying. It's your set of different ways. You're either growing or you're dying. So as we get into the mind part or pillar of TELP, it's going to be so cool for people to get to dig into, for you to get to dig into the idea that if life feels monotonous and if you're just running on a treadmill, it is because you're not growing. It's literally that simple, that you're not growing and you feel completely contained and sad. So,
well, we are going to grow.
Yes.
All right, so we've got heart as a pillar. We've got mind. What is the third one?
The next one is the spirit. And this has so much to unpack in it, but this is our faith. This is our creativity. This is our inspiration. This is our dreams. So it's all of those really big, full of lung feeling type things. Does that make sense?
It does, and that's a lot. And so again, as she described, the 4 tables, right? The legs. So it's really important. So we've got heart, we've got mind, we've got spirit. All right, Laurie, what's the fourth leg?
The fourth one is the body. And I know that one's going to be fun for us because we're going to do some challenges and all kinds of, I'm going to challenge you and you're going to challenge me. You don't remember this? We're going to do some challenges on the body, but the body is the physical body. It's where you show up. So it is in community.
Yeah.
So you can just kind of think of it like that. It's the body and the health as a wholeness. I mean, we can think about for a second Steve Jobs. You can have all the money and inspiration and creativity and friends and community in the world, but if you're physically not healthy, there's nothing that you can do to turn that around. And so I've been working on my body, the physical part, for quite a long time, and it is the hardest mountain I've ever climbed. But it is one of the last mountains. The other ones I feel like I've put my pillars together for my table. It's the body that I need to work on.
All right, everybody, so you've got the 4 pillars. You've got heart, you've got mind, you've got spirit, and you've got body.
Yep.
And so the Extraordinary Life Project, we're going to be walking through this process with you. But here's the reality. As we talk about this and as we begin to unpack it, and Laurie shares from her life and I share from my life, what I want you to understand is that this is individual to you. This is about you. Now, this is a time that I'm going to tell you, Hogan's given you permission to be selfish. Okay? I'm giving you permission to dig in and to literally think about you. And some of you out there don't struggle with that, okay? You're good at thinking about yourself. Some of the other ones out there, you really struggle because you have a heart of a giver, you have a heart of a caretaker, and you're so worrying about everyone else that obviously you can tend to forget yourself. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is where I can tend to fall into this category. As I'm trying to make everybody else be okay, I literally at times have failed at making sure that I was okay. And so how do you do this? How do you begin to kind of take that internal analysis? And we're going to be talking about self-awareness later, which is a big, big piece. But as you start to look at this and understand that you have an opportunity to write your story. And Laurie, it's so important for us to keep writing. No matter what's happened in life before, you're not done yet.
That's right, and it is your story.
Yes.
So some of the things we're going to really unpack over the next little bit are going to be the idea of what pen is in your hand. Right, when you're writing the story, is it a pen from the past that you need to lay down and pick up a new pen? Is it a pen that you feel like your mother or your father or your grandparents, whoever raised you, kind of put those expectations on you? Is it something that you need to lay down because it's not the pen you would have chosen to write your story with? That is something that we're going to have to really dig into. But think about today too, for vision casting on the Extraordinary Life. This is a vision for you. So if we're going to get in some practical stuff here in a minute to help you start vision casting. But if you start to write out that vision and you realize, this is what my husband would want. This is probably what Granny Smith would want. That's okay. That's okay, but cross that out and come down below it and think about just you. And I know you have a family. I have 3 kiddos. You have 3 kiddos. Yep. We're mothers and fathers. I have companies where I have employees. I'm an owner. I'm a boss. I'm all the things. So I know there's a lot of people that are going to be affected in my extraordinary life journey. But for a moment, I've got to clear some space for it just to be me having a conversation with me to see where do I want my life to go? What is my individual extraordinary life project? So this thing we're going to walk through together. It is not about Chris's extraordinary life. It's not about mine. It's not about your kids. It's not about somebody else you know or your neighbor or keeping up with the Joneses. It is seriously just about you, and yours will look different than all of ours. It
really will. And again, we're not saying that you're not going to strive to be the best parent or the best person, teammate, or whatever. No, it's talking about what it is you're desiring. And what you're going to find is as you get on that path to becoming and reaching your extraordinary life, you're going to have the opportunity to have an incredible impact. I call it the ripple effect, because the things that you touch, the projects you're involved with, the people that you become connected with, they're going to be uplifted because you are where it is you need to be. And so this is a journey that we're going to take all together. The information, as we get ready to kind of share with you some practical steps on how to discover this, because a lot of you are going, okay, Hogan, I hear you. I want it. Now, where is it? Okay, well, we can't go to Amazon and get this. Okay, we can't go to Target or Walmart. No, this is an exploration that you're going to take. And so we had a discussion on some questions, some things to think about to help you start to discover this. Now, listen, you have to find this. You have to go on this exploration process with us so you can discover it. Stop allowing someone to give you their definition of what your life should look like. We need you to find your own.
That's right. And so we've created a really awesome survey. The link will be below for you. It is a Google Doc. If you can't reach the Google Doc, Caitlin is one of our team members. Her email is below as well. Please reach out to her. What we'd love for you to do is take the survey, print it off, Get somewhere quiet and in a new atmosphere. So just a new place, a new environment that maybe isn't in the busyness of your office or in the craziness of the kitchen in the middle of dinner. Find some space that you can actually sit down and walk through these 6 questions that we have for you. Quick story, a good friend of mine, and some of you may feel this way, so I'm going to share this. A good friend of mine is at the point where she needs to start expanding her business a little bit. And I asked her, I said, well, where are some of the paths that we can talk about just as friends together? And she said, well, I'm concerned because I can't even breathe enough to dream anymore. And I shared this with Chris a little while ago, and he said the dream's already inside of her.
Yeah.
It's already.
It is. It really is. We know how to dream. I can remember as a young kid, I was small too, believe that. At one point I was. But I can remember sitting out on the front porch with my friends. And we used to sit out there, it was raining of course, and as cars would go by, my friend would go, oh, that's my car. And then another cool car would go by and another friend say, that's mine. And of course I chimed in. We know how to dream, we know how to see things and that desire. What I want us to do as adults is as we get caught up in life and get caught up in taking care of kids or chasing a career or doing X, Y, and Z, too often times we can get in remote control mode, meaning we're doing something out of habit. Have you ever driven somewhere and not really thought about how you got there?
And you're there and you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
What did I pass on the way? Too often times, that's what life looks like for us.
So back to the survey. We're going to have you do the survey. There's 6 questions. Get in the environment that will lift you up. My friend and I, we got dressed up real nice. We went out to a nice dinner. We had a glass of wine and we let the situation settle over dinner, just had a good time. And then we started to discuss these paths. And she was in a relaxed state with nice music, looking pretty. It was easier for her to start uncovering the fact that she already knew what the dream was, as Chris has alluded to. She already knew it. So these 6 questions that we've come up with for you kind of walk you through some of the really great moments in your life and the things that have lifted you up, hopefully to get you in the spirit of what vision casting looks like. Don't let this be heavy. This is a ton of fun. This is so good for you and your spirit to sit down and really think about what could my life look like if I just pushed away everything negative, pushed away all the responsibilities for just a minute, and thought about what could this look like in the next 2 to 5 years. So we've created this as a practical tool, but the end result is, hopefully at the very bottom of it, you're going to be able to define what is your idea of an extraordinary life. And we'll get into the nitty gritty of all the pillars, the heart, the mind, the spirit, the body. All 4 of those are parts that support this idea. But let's start with the idea.
Yeah, and here's the reality. This is not information for you to share with anyone. This is not a survey you're sending back to us or anything like that. This is for you. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to be as honest and real as possible. So for some of you that got young kids running around, or maybe they're not so young, wait till you have some time for you. Carve out 45 minutes to an hour just to sit still and think about, what do you want? For you, what do you want your extraordinary life to look like? So, tell them a couple of the questions.
Yes. So, well, and really, just real quick, what do you want your extraordinary life to look like? And to benefit even better, and this may push a lot of us because we're those type of people that take care of other people. Who will benefit? Who will benefit from you moving towards your extraordinary life? You think everybody's going to be hitting detriments because of it. That's not necessarily true. Yeah. If my heart's in check, I'm more loving towards my family.
Yes.
If my mind is in check, I can share more knowledge with a younger generation.
And if you're working in a career or pursuing something that gets you excited and up and out of bed, everybody you come in contact with is going to feel that spirit on you.
So the survey itself will ask you some questions along the lines of, where's a time in your life where everything seemed like it was in sync? Who are the people, types of people and people in your life that lift you up? What are the activities that give you a boost of energy rather than sucking you dry completely? So survey's very straightforward.
And real quick, because Laurie can be wordy.
Talk.
But here's the thing. It's 6 quick questions. 6. And so get somewhere, spend some time, and really give it some thought. Again, it's the part of this journey. And I promise you, the thing at the end of it is you figuring out, as Laurie said, what your extraordinary life is. So guess what? Next show, we're going to dig deeper. Seriously. You know why? We're going to talk about setbacks. We're going to talk about stumbling blocks, and we're going to talk about pitfalls, things that can cause us to not be living our extraordinary life. And we're going to talk about those because it's really important for us to see them, understand them, and be able to deal with them effectively.
Absolutely. So when you do this survey, I know Chris said it's not for anybody, and it's not, but we know too that at the end of something great, the one thing we all want to do is share it with somebody. You do not have to, but if you have that feeling like, I want people to know what my idea of it, I mean, you took the time to do it, and now it's like, let me share this with someone, because sharing it with someone is almost the next step. It takes courage.
It does.
But it is the next step. So maybe share it with our community. Feel free to leave that in the comments down below on the YouTube or on the YouTube. I'm such a Gen Xer. Or any of the other social media sites that we have. We would love to hear back from you. The YouTube.
Anyways, I'm younger than her.
Comments.
I'm younger than her. But what comment do you want them to leave below?
I want you to leave the sentence, my idea of an extraordinary life is. Yes, thank you. And then finish the sentence. And that is the question 6 on the survey. You'll see it. It'll end there.
That's awesome. And listen, you click on that survey and you see it and you start to think, man, I might have some friends or family. I'd love for them to share into this. And they don't have to share the results of their survey, but feel free to bring them into this project. This is about community. This is about growth. So we appreciate you all taking the time to tune in. If you've watched the episode 1, awesome. Also, don't forget, there's an after show. And so the after show gives you an opportunity to see us a little bit more relaxed, drilling down into the topic and having more fun.
Thanks so much, guys. I look forward to seeing you do your surveys. Jump in deep. You are very worth it.
Let's do this.